tonight we are looking at representing data now. So last week we looked at how do we get the data, what's good data, okay? Then we had a look at the three different ways that we test that data, and we're going to practice some more there as well tonight, okay? And maybe on Thursday night. But tonight, what we're looking at are bar graphs, double bar graphs, and histograms. So that's the heading for the first section of our lesson tonight. We're looking at bar graphs, double bar graphs, and histograms. So I know some of you really like to make some notes for yourselves before we get going into the questions. So let's go and start by making some notes on these three different items, because there are three very different types of graphs that sometimes get confused. Okay. We're going to start, guys, and we're going to look at the bar graph. Okay, so what is a bar graph? Right. A bar graph is a visual representation of data that uses rectangular bars to represent different categories or groups. The length of each bar is proportional to the quantity or value that it represents. Bar graphs are typically used to compare and display discrete categories of data. So discrete categories of data, numbers that we can count, actual rounded off numbers. Right. I'm going to give you an example there while you might be taking down that definition. I'm going to give you an example of what a bar graph would look like. So you go take down that definition so long. All right, and I'm going to paste in a picture of what a bar graph would look like. Let's have a look. So that's our definition for a bar graph. Okay, what does a bar graph actually look like? Well, a bar graph looks as follows. Okay, so there is our bar graph. Okay, we can see it's got rectangular bars. All right, so we can see that it's got rectangular bars. Okay, and with those rectangular bars, all right, we can also see that look what's happening between these bars, guys. We've got spaces. Okay, so for a bar graph, the one thing that I really want you to notice is that the bar graph has spaces between the bars. They're all spaced out. This word here, where it talks about discrete data, discrete is numbers that you can count in. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. There's no fractions, okay? There's no decimals, nothing like that. They're whole numbers. All right. Oh, I like that. Shikana is completely right. It has an X and a Y axis. Well done for noticing that. So there's an X axis on the bottom and a Y axis on the side. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you a few minutes just to take that down. You can also take a screenshot of it if you want. Okay. All right, guys. Let's go and have a look at our next one. Let's go have a look at our next one that we're looking at. So that was the bar graph, okay? The next one that I said to you that we're looking at tonight is a double bar graph. So this is a normal bar graph. It's got one bar on each side, okay? We're looking at measuring one item of measurement here, okay? We're not comparing anything, all right? What we want to look at now, if our screen will let us, is we want to go and have a look at the double bar graph. Yeah, okay, apologies. I'm just trying to get our screen to work nicely for us. And there we go. It stopped sharing. It's a Monday, guys, of course. It's a Monday. All right. Let's have a look at getting this back up and going for you. Apologies, guys. I think always on a Monday, the screen's like, nah. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So let's have a look at our next graph with our definition. So the next graph I said we were going to look at was a double bar graph, hey? All right. So, well, the word kind of gives it away if we're looking at a double bar graph, all right? But let's look at the definition first, and then I'm going to put a picture in of what that looks like for you. So when we have a double bar graph is also sometimes known as a double bar chart. And it's a graph where you're comparing two sets of data. So the thing to remember here, the difference between a bar graph and a double bar graph, in a double bar graph, you're comparing two sets of data, not just one thing. You're looking at comparing two sets of data. Okay. It's also using rectangular bars, and each set of data is represented by a pair of bars side by side, allowing for easy visual comparison between the two sets. This type of graph is useful when comparing two related variables or groups within the same categories. Okay, so we're looking at two sets of data. Maybe we're looking at something like how many ice creams girls ate and boys ate in particular months. So we're looking at comparing the number of ice creams eaten by boys and girls in a particular month, all right? That would be an example of where we would use a double bar chart. So let's go show you what that would look like, a picture of it. So in this bar graph, like I said to you, all right, okay, it says flavor preferences by gender. So for example, maybe they looked at the flavor of ice cream that males and females liked. Okay, so they were comparing what flavors male and females liked out of ice cream. Okay, so it can be clearly seen because we're comparing the data next to each other like that. I'm going to give you a few minutes to take that down or take a screenshot. All right. In the meantime, I see Itandile has your hand up. Itandile, do you have a question for me?
Yes, ma'am, I do have a question.
Hi. What's up?
Hello, ma'am. I wanted
Hi.
to know what's the difference between a double bar graph and a line graph?
And a line graph. So a
Yes,
line
ma'am.
graph, okay, you're testing one set of data. You could do two sets of data, but a line graph has a line going up. I'll show you an example of what a line graph looks like after this, okay? So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
got like a point that you join the points up and then you join that with a line. That's how we would see it.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
but I'm going to show you after this. Thanks, Itandile. All right. Yeah. Oh dear, guys. Okay. While you're taking that one down, at the bottom there, we talk about a histogram lastly. So a histogram is a type of bar graph. Okay, so it's still got bars in it. All right. But it represents the distribution of continuous data. Now, guys, what continuous data means is that it can be measured using decimals and fractions. So we had discrete data that was whole numbers only. For continuous data, so when we're looking at continuous data, this can be used with fractions and decimals. Okay. It consists of a series of continuous bars where the width of each bar corresponds to the range of values. it represents, sorry, and the height indicates the frequency or count of data points within that range. Histograms are especially useful for visualizing the shape and the spread of data. All right, and we're going to practice with that tonight. Okay, so maybe that's not making sense at the moment. All right, but we're going to practice it tonight and we're going to see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit so I can put what a histogram would look like for you. So let's insert a picture of a histogram for you guys. All right, I'm going to bring this down to our notes for us nicely. So we've got a histogram there. So can you see that in the histogram, do we have any spaces between histograms? So bar graph, what did we see? We had spaces. Double bar graph, we had spaces. What do we see in the histogram? In the histogram, we're not seeing any spaces. Maybe there's a space over here, but the reason there might be a space over there is because maybe there wasn't any data over there. So technically, it kind of like would have gone like that. All right. But in a histogram, okay, we can see that all of the bars are joined in a histogram. Okay, so in a histogram, there's no gaps in between. So often students say to me, ma'am, how are we supposed to know the difference between what a bar graph is and what a histogram is? Okay, how are we supposed to know? How are we supposed to know what's the difference between a bar graph and a histogram? And guys, the easiest way that I can tell you is that bar graph is two separate words. So bar graph is two separate words, and look there, it's got a space in between the words. But the word histogram is one word, so there's no gaps in between it. That's how you remember. A histogram, no gaps. A bar graph has gaps in between the bars. Okay. All right, so bar graph, gaps. Okay, histogram, no gaps. Okay. All right. Hopefully you've got this down, you've got some notes down, or you've taken some screenshots of what that looks like. Let's go and answer the questions now for tonight. Let's go see. Okay, so you may use a calculator, our notes say. Yay, right. Tandor planted a vegetable garden with the same things planted in each row. She gives all the rows the same amount of water and the same soil. The front rows get more sun than the back rows, which are all near the wall. Okay, so she's planting this vegetable garden. All right, the front rows are getting more sun than the back rows, which are near the wall. She records the heights of the various plants in centimeters in each row after they have been growing for a month. So, in row 1, the front row, we've got a plant that's 30 centimeters, 25, 47, 20, 20, and 23. In the middle row, we've got a plant that's 25 centimeters, 21, okay, 32, 18, 12, and 21. All right. And in the back row, 21, 8, 25, 18, 8, and 15. So we've got these plants that are all different heights, guys. Okay, and they've told us that first column is all plant A, the second column is all plant B, the third column is plant C, plant D, E, and F. Tando wants to compare the heights of just the plants in the middle row. So she's not interested in the front row, she's not interested in the back row, she just wants to look at the middle row, guys. She wants to look at the plants that are planted in the middle row, and she wants to compare their heights. All right, so think about this, okay? It's one row of plants that we are comparing, all right? And we're going to have plant A, plant B, C, D, E, and F. What kind of graph should she use to do this? So what kind of graph should Tando use, okay, if she wants to compare the height of the plants in just one row? So she's looking at one row. What do you guys think? You can tell me in the chat, okay, or you can tell me with your hats, no problem. All right. Katlego, what do you think?
Ma'am, I think that maybe she could use a histogram because the numbers vary from let's say 15 to 20 to 35.
Absolutely. She could use a histogram. You're right. Okay. I agree with you. I'm going to put you on mute again. So I agree with Katlego. The first thing I would also go to is maybe a histogram, because also plants don't grow to whole numbers. Sometimes they can also have decimals in their height. Hey? So they can be like 25,2 centimeters. All right. But in this case, what have they done? They've given us actual numbers. So they've given us whole numbers. All right. So using a histogram, we don't really need to use a histogram, okay? And another thing that I want to just point out to you guys here is that, what are we looking at? If we're using a histogram, normally it's because it's all the same thing. So we'd be looking at the height of just plant A, or looking at the height of just plant B. But in this example, we've got a plant A, a plant B, a plant C, a plant D, a plant E, and a plant F. So just like some of you are telling me in the chat, and I'm sure that some of their hands are up for, we need to look at what would a bar graph would look like. Okay, so we're going to be looking at, for A, the best example would be a bar graph. All right, so we would say here bar graph, and it says give a reason. Give a reason for your choice that we chose a bar graph. Give a reason for your choice. So there's different reasons that you could use, all right? One of my reasons, reason number one, I'm going to say the data is discrete. So in other words, it's all whole numbers. So that's one of the reasons I can use a bar graph, because the data is discrete, okay? Or the second reason we could give, all right, is that we comparing, okay, the different plant heights. So they're different categories, different plants, okay, and we comparing their heights. So unrelated data, the categories, to the related data, which is the heights. So number two, we can say here comparing comparing types of plants to a common, we can say, because height would be common. As long as what you say makes sense, no problem. Oh dear, sorry. All right. My next question says to me, draw the graph. So my next question says, draw the graph. Okay. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think about it, of drawing the graph. So 2 minutes to think about drawing the graph. Okay, in the meantime, I see Itandile, you have a question, and I know you asked me about line graphs. I promise I'm going to talk about it soon. Okay, as soon as we do the kind of graph that we can use a line graph for. All right, but let's see. Hi, Itandile, what's your question, my love?
Ma'am, I don't have a question. I'm very sorry.
That's okay, no problem. Did you leave your hand up maybe?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, no probs, Tandile. All right, guys. All right. Bernicia, do you have a question for us while everybody's giving it a think? Enjoying it maybe? Hi, Bernicia.
Hi, ma'am.
What's up? What's your question, my love?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask that once we choose between is it a histograph, a bar graph, or a double bar graph, or should we just wait so that you can like explain?
So we already decided in question A, we said it was going to be a bar graph, and you're going to go draw a bar graph now. But I am going to explain
Yes,
it
ma'am.
in 10 seconds. Thanks, Bernicia.
Okay.
All right, so let's go have a look. Okay, all right. I'm going to, oopsie daisy, I'm going to cheat a little bit, just a little bit, and I'm going to use graph paper. Now, I quite like graph paper. Most of you at school, you get given graph paper when you want to draw a graph, okay? But otherwise, you would use a ruler and a pencil. So I'm going to go use graph paper just because it's going to make our lives a little bit easier, okay? I'm going to take my ruler, all right? And I'm going to draw my x-axis and my y-axis. So I'm going to start with my y-axis. And now I'm going to go draw my x-axis along the bottom. Oh no, sorry guys. Oh, where did our screen go to? My goodness, what is going on here tonight? I'm so sorry guys, I don't know what is going on. It's doing all strange things. Okay. Definitely a Monday, must be a Monday problem. All right. Let's go back here for you. So we are sharing the screen again. Apologies, I know you can't see the screen. I'm going to fix it for you right now. Okay. Let's get this going again for you. All right. And let's get our screen going again for us. All right. Let's share our screen with you guys again. Okay, apologies. All right, so we had our y. Let's go draw our x-axis along the bottom. Okay, and now we want to go and give some figures here. So we want to have some figures going. So let's get that going. All right. On the bottom, what am I going to do? On the bottom, I'm going to call this my plants. So I can say plants, or I can say plant category. Okay, whichever one you want to say, fine. On the side, I'm going to go call this my height in centimeters. I'm going to go do my height in centimeters along the side. Okay, so on my x-axis, I had my plant categories. On my y-axis, I've got my height in centimeters. All right. So if I go back to my question, okay, let's go back and look at our question. Our question says to us, we're looking at just the middle row, just the middle row. So we always start at 0. And I would say the highest number here is 32. Okay, so let's go back here. So we're always going to start at 0. So this is going to be 0. Okay, and our highest number is 52. So I'm going to go look at my graph quickly. I'm going to go look at my graph quickly. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm going to go up, guys, in twos because I can do that on my graph. Okay, you can go up in ones if you really want to. You can go up in fives if you really want to, okay? For me, I'm going to go up in twos because I can. I have enough space. So I'm going to have here 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and 32. Okay. Right. On my bottom, I've got 6 different kinds of plants that I need to use. So I'm going to go count how many I've got on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right. We're going to start with plant A. So if I go back to my information, plant A, guys, was 25 centimeters. So if I'm looking at 25 centimeters, this is where I'm going to go draw plant A. I'm going to draw in a different color for you. So here's plant A. All right. He's going to go from 0 all the way to, I'd say 25 is between 24 and 26. Okay, so I would take my ruler. Right. I would draw my ruler down to where I've got A. If you really want to, you can go color it in depending on what your teacher has asked you to do. Right. I'm going to go try color mine in as neatly as possible because that's really important because we want straight lines. So maybe better idea is to do this first. All right, so there is my beautiful line graph. Okay. Right, I'm going to go draw that in first nicely. Right, hopefully yours is nice and neat. Hopefully you've got the lines right. Okay, there's my A. All right, let's carry on. B. B is 21. So I'm going to go pick a different color. I'm going to go with blue. I'm going to leave a gap in between, guys, because remember, bar graph needs a gap. So I need to go to 21. So 21 is about here. Right, I'm going to take my ruler and my pencil. Okay, I'm going to go blue now. All right. And I'm going to go fill in my 21. So there is my B. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Graph keeps moving. Sorry, guys. All right. There was my B there. Okay, and you can go and you can color that in if you want to. For C, C was 32, so I'm going to go pick a green just so that we go a little bit faster here. All right. Oh, dear. Okay, I'm now going to have green. I'm going to go C on the bottom. I leave a gap. Okay, so I'm going to leave a gap. I'm going to go all the way to 32. So there's 32 over there. I'm going to go and I'm going to draw my line now. Right. So I'm going to have that one going down there and that one going down there. My next one was 18. I'm going to go pick a different color. Okay, so I'm going to leave a gap on the bottom. I'm going to have D and I'm looking for 18. Get my ruler out. All right. Go all the way to the bottom and all the way to the bottom with C. Okay. Then I'm going to have E. Go pick a different color for us. Let's see if I can find a different one. Let's go with this. Oh, I like this color. Okay, we're going to have E. Okay, E, plant E was 12, so we're going to go up to 12. All right, we're going to take our ruler. All right, and we're going to draw our line going down and our line going down. And finally, we're going to go with F. F, I'm just going to pick the last color that's there. F was 21. So there's F. Here, about between 20 and 22, I'll find 21. Okay, and I'm going to draw my line going down. And my line going down. All right, while you guys are catching up to me, I'm going to go give them some more colors so you can see by using some drawings on them. Just while you guys are catching up. Let's see. Why doesn't it want to use our beautiful color? Doesn't want to pick the right color. Let's see if it'll let us do it now. There we go. Our purple for you. Okay, so it's really important, guys, that you do some sort of drawings on your columns so that your teacher can see that you've got the right figure, but it's really important that you use a ruler and a pencil and that it's nice and neat. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. Let's have a look at our next question. So, our next question says to us, okay, Tandor uses a double bar graph to compare the heights of the plants in the front and the back rows. So guys, I'm going to help us out here, okay? She now wants us to draw a double bar graph, okay? But we haven't got a lot of time to spend drawing all these graphs, so I'm going to show you what that double bar graph would look like, because I did this earlier on for you, and I've got all the answers here. So I'm going to take the double bar graph, and I'm going to put a picture of it on the screen for us so that we've got it. All right. Let's go have a look. So you would draw this graph. Again, you can take a screenshot of this and you can go and practice this later on. So I'm going to insert this picture for us of what the double bar graph looks like. There it is. There is my double bar graph. Okay, so you can see again, I've got the x-axis and I've got the y-axis. All right. In the dark green, I've shown the front row, and in the light green, I've shown the back row. So there's a beautiful double bar graph. Okay, there's our beautiful double bar graph. All right. Question B. Question B says, question B says to us, which plant was most affected by changes in the sun? So in other words, which plant grew the biggest? Which plant was most affected by the changes in the sun? Guys, which one had the biggest effect from having the sun on it? Which one had the biggest effect from having the sun on it? Let's go, Shakina. Hi, Shakina.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
Finding you?
Good, thanks. Right, Shakina, which plant was the most affected by the sun?
I think plant E in the back row.
Plant E, you are right, because it didn't get grow at all. Hey, I would also say that, because it's teeny tiny. So it was definitely affected by the sun, hey? So we could say plant E, plant E in back row. It is the smallest. All right. Do you agree that maybe, oh no, plant E is smaller than plant B? I agree with you. Okay. And which other one was also affected by the sun? So that was the smallest one. What about the biggest one, Shakina?
The biggest one is plant C in the front. Well,
Good.
in the front
So
row.
plant C in the front row, it is the largest plant. Well done. Thanks, Shakina. Awesome.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right. Okay. C says to us, okay, so C says to us, all right, which plant was least affected by changes in the sun? So if I look at these plants and I'm comparing back row to front row, which plant had the least effect did the sun have on it? So if I look at plant A, there's a difference between the sun, hey? One's bigger than the other. Plant B, ooh, one's bigger than the other. Plant C, one's bigger than the other. Guys, what do I see about plant D? What do I see about plant D? Did the sun have any effect on plant D? Did it have any effect? No, because whether it's in the front or the back, plant D grew the same, hey? So plant D. All right. Last question says to us, last question. What can you conclude about the effect of sun on plants? What can you conclude? What can you say about what is the effect of the sun on plants? Oh, hi, Longawa.
Hi, ma'am.
What's the effect, Longawa? Tell me, what's the effect of the sun on plants based on this graph?
Of the plants, miss.
Yeah, what's the effect of the sun? Does the sun make them grow bigger or does the sun make them grow small? Does it have an effect?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if we can look at this graph, all those plants that were in the front row, what can we see? They grew a lot faster, hey?
Bigger.
Do you agree?
Faster, yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Lungawa, did you have another question you wanted to ask?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, cool. All right. So Lungawa is absolutely right for number D. What effect does the sun have on plants? If plants are in the sun, they will grow faster, which we saw in our graph. They will grow faster. Okay. Right. Some people have been asking me in the chat, ma'am, how do we calculate the mean? Ma'am, what is the mode? Ma'am, what is the range? Let's have a look at a question like that in our next question. Let's have a look. So we did number one. Number one is done. Screen is just a little bit confused again. Sorry, guys. Let's get our screen going. Okay, number one is done. We've done number two. Let's have a look at number three. Number three says to us, find the mode, the median, the mean, and the range of the plants in the front row. So let's go get the plants in the front row. All right, the plants in the front row were 30, 25, 47, 20, 20, and 23. Now, guys, what are our steps whenever we're trying to calculate mode, median, range, mean, all those things? What's the first thing we should always do? Okay, I see lots of hands up. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to answer me. I think maybe the best thing for us to do is to drop everyone's hands, and then those people that can answer me about what's the first thing you do when you're doing data analysis, what's the first thing you do? Okay. Mulalo. Hi, Mulalo. Oh, no, Mulalo, we can't hear you. Try us again. I think maybe Mulalo's sound is not working. Okay, Mulalo, I'm gonna wait. Must I wait? Okay, Mulalo, I'm gonna come back to you when you got your sound working, okay? Ntabi Singh. Hi, Ntabi Singh.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Right, tell me, what's the first thing you must do when you're doing data?
Ma'am, you have to look at the ma'am, must I tell you the answer or must I tell you what we
No.
do?
I want you to tell me what we must do first with those numbers. What do we do first?
Okay, so firstly, you're gonna look at the numbers that you repeat twicely. Then
Okay, good.
after you look at the number that you repeat twicely, or you write the numbers down firstly in a row, and then after you go look at them again.
Good, well done. And Tabi saying is right. You look at the numbers, okay, and you're going to write them down again. Now, there's a special way you're going to write them down, and Tandile has told me in the chat, you need to arrange them. You need to arrange them from smallest to biggest, okay? So we need to arrange these numbers from smallest to biggest. So front row, okay, first thing we're going to go do is arrange the numbers from smallest to biggest. I'm going to help you guys out here. So I had 20, then I had 20 if I'm doing smallest to biggest, then I have 23, 25, 30, and 47. So I've arranged the numbers for you from smallest to biggest. Okay. The first thing that they ask us to do there is they're saying to us to find the mode. Find the mode, okay? Find the mode. All right, guys, if you're looking for the mode, M-O, mode, M-O means most popular. Mode, most popular. Mode, most popular. Mode, mo means most popular. So the mode in all of these numbers, if I'm looking at it, the mode is going to be 20. And not just 20 centimeters. Okay, so the most popular one, the one that appears more than once, is 20. All right. The next one is median. Who can tell me what median means? Who haven't I heard from tonight? Tando. Hi, Tando.
Hi, ma'am.
Tando, tell us, what does median mean? What are they looking for when they're looking for median?
Ma'am, the number that's in the middle.
Well done. They're looking for the number that's in the middle, Tando. Well done. Now, Tando, there's more than one way to do that, hey? So the one way you can do that is by using your fingers and blocking out the numbers. Do you agree? Until you get to the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen that way before? So you
Yes,
put your
ma'am.
fingers down and you block them off until you get to the middle number. Or another way is to use your pencil and to cross off each one. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, stay with me. Stay with me, Tando. So I'm going to go use my magic pencil here. All right, so I'm using my magic pencil. Here we go. So I'm crossing that one off and that one off, that one and that one. And oh my gosh, Tando, I have two numbers in the middle. Do you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't just have one number. I've got two numbers. I've got two numbers. So Mulalo's busy helping us out, Tando, but you also can tell me because you're talking to me, what happens if I've got two numbers in the middle? What do I do? Do you know?
So, ma'am, you plus the two numbers in the middle and then you divide it by 2.
You're amazing. Well done. So you're going to say 23 plus 25, and you're going to divide that by 2. Well done, Tando. Nice. Well done. What do you get when you do that?
So, ma'am, 23 plus 25, which is 48, 8 divided by
Good.
2 is 24.
Rockstar, well done. 24 centimeters. Thanks, Tando.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so now, guys, they want us to do the mean. I'm going to help you out here. What do you need to do when you do the mean? Okay, mean, I always think of mean like this. This is how I remembered mean when I was at school. Let's say, okay, you studied really, really hard for a test, or you studied really, really hard for an exam. You studied and you studied and you studied and you studied, and you were ready. But in the morning of your test or exam, you woke up and you were sick. All right, let's say like you had maybe bronchitis or chicken pox or I don't know, something, but you couldn't go and write your test, okay? And you were really sick, all right? So what happened? Your mom and dad went, and they wrote a letter to the school, and the school said, okay, no problem. What we want you to do is we're going to give her the average, all right? Now, the reason why I think it's mean to give a student the average is because that's not a true reflection of what you would have gotten. What if you had done really, really well because you studied really hard? So I always think to myself, when I'm thinking mean, it's really, really mean to give somebody the average. Mean, average, mean, average, mean, average. So if I'm looking for the mean, it means I'm looking for the average. And to get the average, what I must do is I must add all the numbers together. And then I must divide it by the number of numbers there are. So there are 6. All right. When we do that, they normally tell us how many decimal places they want. I'm going to give us 1 decimal place. I get 27,5 centimeters. Mean, average, mean, average, mean, average. Mean, average, mean, average, mean, average. Okay. And the last thing, guys, that they want us to calculate is the range, all right? They want us to look at the range of numbers. So the range of numbers, okay? So let's have a look. When we're looking at the range, we always take the biggest number and we minus the smallest number. And that's going to give us 27 centimeters. 27 centimeters. Okay. All right, guys. So Mr. Hugo is going to put up for us the poll for tonight. I am going to stay here for a few extra minutes. I know that last week we got cut off by load shedding, so that's why I want to make sure, okay, that I stay on for a little bit sooner tonight. So if there's any other questions, you guys can ask me some questions. Mr. Hugo's got the poll up. Remember, there are 74 of us, I think there are in class at the moment. All 74 people will answer the poll, please. Okay. All right. If you don't have any questions, thank you so much. We will see you on Wednesday. Okay. Good luck if you're writing your exams before Wednesday. Guys, you got this. Stay calm. All right. Make sure you're getting a lot of sleep. Make sure you're eating healthy, and good luck for your exams. All right. Thank you so much to all of you who don't have any questions, guys. If you do have any questions, please stay on the chat and ask your question. Okay. All right. So I am going to, Mr. Hugo, I think we must drop everybody's hands first. I'm going to do that. All right, guys, if you have a question, you are more than welcome to ask your question now. So you can raise your hand and you can ask your question.
Hi, ma'am.
I think you meet.
Oh, gosh. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, sorry. Apologies. All right, Zwande. Hi, Zwande.
Hello,
Zwande?
Miss.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Miss.
Hello, how can I help? I'm good, thanks. Right, Zwande, what help do you need?
Miss, my teacher told me that you must add all the numbers and then divide by 9. But as
Divide
I
by-
see here that divide by 9.
Okay.
Is it right to divide by 9 or
No, if you had 9 different things, then you would divide it by 9. Let's say you were playing, let's say you were looking at the average for 8 soccer matches. So the scores, the mean for 8 soccer matches. Then what would you divide by? You divide by 8,
8?
okay? Let's say you were
Yes.
looking for the average score of all the soccer matches in the whole season of soccer. Maybe you played 13 matches over the whole season. Then what will you divide by? You divide by 13, hey?
13.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it make sense, Wande?
Yes, miss.
Good. Okay. I'm glad you learned something today. That's good. Well done. All right. Let's go to Shady. Hi, Shady.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good, ma'am. Can you please
Good.
scroll up to the histogram notes?
The histogram notes. Of course, I can do that for you. Let's go and get the histogram. If our screen doesn't give up on us, let's hope. Hold thumbs, Shady. Okay, let's go. Histogram. There we go. Those ones.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. No problem. All right. Mishle. Hi, Mishle. Hi, Mishle. How are you?
I'm getting you, ma'am.
Good. What's up? How can I help?
Ma'am, may you please scroll down to number 3, please?
Number 3, no problem. Okay, so hopefully Shady has these notes. She took a screenshot of them. Let's go have a look at number 3. Okay. Number 3. Right, what's up?
So, ma'am, let's say in a data set, you have more than, like, there's a number and, like, there's more than one of those numbers. Like with the 20 and
Yep.
there's the second 20. So, ma'am, do you, like, write both of them down when you're
Yes.
rearranging the...
Absolutely, that's a very good question. So if there was like, if you had, let's just say it went like this. Let's say it went 20, 20, 23, 25, 25, 47. Then you would write 20 and 25.